Hey folks, it's Dave back here, and tonight what I'd like to do is I'm going to show you how I set up an APBA hockey game, or how I set it up, and I'm going to show you how I actually play some of the game. All right, now I'm going to kind of go slow tonight here to show you a little bit. I don't think I'll get the full game in, and the reason behind that is because I'm going to be playing a little bit slow, and with all the setup and stuff, I don't think we'll get to the end of it here. But I do want to show you how I set it up. Maybe, and like I say, sometimes it's fun to see that. Maybe you get some ideas, from me, and I get ideas from other people when you see them set up a game. I know I always have it all set up and ready to go, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of get behind the scenes, more or less, and see how I do it here. All right, so let me just clear out of this. I'm just setting up my my chat room and make sure that everything works here, and I should be good to go. And where are we now? I just like to check my audio, and the only way I can do it is this way. Okay, yep, I think we're good. Okay, so let's go to the overhead view, and I'm going to show you this. Oh, and I'm going to play, by the way, I'm going to play this with the APBA Excel helper. Okay, and I'll explain how that works so you can have an idea what I'm doing here with that, because it does make the game so much faster, as does the Hockey Bones helper. As David C. stops by, and yeah, I did the Bones last night. Sometimes it is a neat refresher. When you see somebody play it and they explain it, it is a kind of a refresher and almost like a little, oh, good, I think I'm playing this correctly. Okay, so let me go overhead here. So this is my little mess I got going on right now, okay? So what I would like to do is we're going to play. My teams are, this is my new season I just get in, 80-81. Although, I'm so bummed out, Ray Bork is dirty. I mean, you look at, like, every other card is nice and clean. Ray Bork is all yellow over here. I'm kind of bummed out that it's Bork. It is what it is. It's just a card. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, and I don't think I'll ever sell him. But it's still kind of a bummer that my favorite player there in the team is bummed out. All right, so what we need to do here is set up the score sheet. Okay, so we got Chicago. So Chicago is the away team. Alrighty. And Boston will be the home team. And this is 80-81, just my own reference, okay? Now what I'm going to do is the goalie. Let's see here. We're going to go with Esposito, because Tony Esposito is my favorite goalie. So we're going to go Esposito over here. And you know who I'm going to go with for Boston? Okay? Not for Sean. Not Marco Barron. Okay, I'm going to go Jim Craig. If you remember when I was researching seasons, this is one of the reasons I went with 80-81, so I could play Jim Craig on the Boston Bruins. So Jim Craig will go in the net over here. All right, so I put them down. Oh, you can't see that here, but so I got this is just my own score sheet that I made, but Esposito and Craig. Now for the miscellaneous. Okay, this is why I put a miscellaneous over here. When you're playing APBA, you need to go and print out these things from the website. Okay, they're free, so just go to wherever you buy the cards on that APBA Turbify, whatever it is. You can click on just above all the seasons. It has all the where the cards are. Right above that, it lists all the seasons in order, and you click on that at the kind of like the top of the page above where the season card images show, and you get this here. So this is the 1980-81 season, and you're looking for this over here. You're looking for the BM, the AG, the PP, and the PK. So the BM, so the bench minor for Boston is 16. So I'm going to write that over here. Alrighty. Now, the AG163, that's your assists. And in the game that you come, it tells you here your assists to goal ratio. So I'm going to have to stop right about here. So 11-51 is 2 assists. So 11-51 is 2 assists. And 1 assist will be 52-63. And, of course, 64-66 is unassisted when you roll for assist. So that's how that is. You also need your power play, which is +1, and your PK, which is 0. And that means, are you adding or subtracting from the shooting range of the opponent? All right, so that is Boston. So now let's go to Chicago. Their bench minor is 22. Boys, they have a very large bench minor. It's 2 more than Boston. Their assist is 167, so 11 to 52 is 2 assists. 1 assist will be 53 to 63. And again, 64 to 66 is unassisted. Now, so we can put this away. We don't need this anymore. Now what we need is their power play. It's a 0, and the PK is +1. So their power play was average at best, and the penalty kill was not good because we're going to add 1 to the scoring range. Boston's power play was good because we're going to add 1, and the PK is 0. So what's going to happen is when Boston goes on a power play, we're going to add 2 because the game says to, and then we're going to add another 1 and another 1. So they're going to add 4 to the shooting range on the power play. Chicago is a 0 and a 0, so they won't add any to the shooting range. So that's what we need to do first, is to get your roster sheets out, get your bench minor, your assist-to-goal ratio to determine how many assists when you roll for that, and then your power play and your PK. So that's thing 1 to do in setting up the score sheet. Okay, so we're going to put this off to the side, and now we're going to set up our lines for the game. What I like to do, and this is the most important thing, very, very important. Before you even play the game, you need to get out your logos and dress it up. Okay, because if you don't, bad things will happen. Okay, so you need to get the logos out. Now, I just printed these in Word or something like that. There's no special way to do these, but you do need to get these printed out. All right, and if you don't do this, then bad things are going to happen to your game. I'm telling you, it's like a curse. So you need to have something here. Al, Red Sox fan, he likes to use helmets, and other people like to use helmets for their games, and that's perfectly fine. That'll eliminate the curse. But if you don't have something here, you do get the game curse. I'm just going to say that. All righty. The curse doesn't last long, okay, but it is a little curse. So you need to have these here. All kidding aside, what I like to do is I like to put these over here by the goalie, and I know what zone is which, along with a little bit of immersion. And that way I know what end is what and where the puck is. So that's what I like to do. All right, so let's set up Chicago first. All righty, so we're going to take Chicago out. We're going to, out of my brand new envelopes here, my 80-81 season. Brand new. Just come in the other day. And here's how I set it up. All right, so I kind of put my defenseman in the back, and then I start laying out my guys in position. So left wing, defense, Bill Gardner, center, and then I just get on my list like this. Okay, so this Kerr guy can play any position, so we'll put him here. Larmer can go left wing or right wing, so we're going to put him here. Lysiak's a center. This guy more than likely is a left wing or left D. He plays both. He's right wing, defense, center, right wing. So this pile's here for guys that play a couple different positions, and I'll show you why I'm doing that. Left wing, he plays all the positions. He's a center. Secord's on the left wing. Sharpley plays a couple positions. He's a left winger. He'll play D. He'll play D. He'll play D. And Bannerman and Esposito, my goalie, and I said I was going with Esposito tonight. Okay, so now I have the guys who play defense. I have my centers and my wingers, and this guy plays D and wing, which is kind of weird. And these guys play different positions. So what I like to do is take out my APBA sheet to give me a guide of who plays where. Okay, so they're telling me that on the left wing, Sutter, Bully, Secord, and Marks. All right, so Sutter, then Bully, then Secord, Marks, and Robideau. So where is Marks? Now, here's Marks. Okay, so we'll go with that. All righty. Now, on the cards, it does say minutes played. So we get 18, 15, 18, and 13. Now, in theory, if you wanted to, you can set it up any way you want. But what I like to do is either go by this or go by minutes. So if Secord played more minutes than Bully, I could technically slide Secord in front of Bully, but we'll go with what they have here, and Secord will be second line. Let's go to the right wing now. So right wing, They want to have Higgins, Sharpie, or Sharpley, Marsh, and Mulvey. So Higgins, Sharpley. So Preston is not going to play. Higgins, Sharpley, Marsh, and Mulvey. So these are the four on the right wing. Because I go 4 wingers and 3 centers is how I set it up. Now, again, at this point here, let me get my centers set up. So I need 3 centers. So they want Savard, Lysiak, and Ruskowski. Savard, Lysiak, and Ruskowski. Okay. So those are my forwards. So now I'm all set with my forward. Now, this is the point of the game where you can have fun with it. Now, what you want to do here is if you have the players who played in the game, what you can do is you put the players who played in the game on here. So let's just say Larmer played in the game and Higgins didn't. You swap them up, okay? And Larmer obviously would go at the bottom because he's less rated here on the list. And so you could put in who played in the game. In this particular game here, I'm not too sure what I want to do. I know Steve Larmer. I've heard of Steve Larmer. So what I like to do is look at my wingers. So Higgins, Sharpley, Marsh, and Mulvey, okay? I don't know Marsh that well. I do know Grant Mulvey. So I'm taking out Marsh, and I'm going to put Larmer in as the 4th line right winger just because I know Steve Larmer, by name. So I'm going to make the executive decision to swap Marsh and Steve Larmer. So now I have my forwards. So all these guys here are not going to play today. And again, I go 4, 3, and 4. And when line 4 is out, I double shift my center. That's just kind of how I do it. Again, you can do it any way you like. That's how I do it. Now on the defense, they're telling me on the right it's Murray, Brown, and Zaharko. And then it's Wilson, Fox, Hutchison, and Young. So Young's the odd man out. So I have Wilson. I have Murray here. I have Hutchinson and Fox. So Wilson, Fox, and Hutchinson are on the D. And then I have Murray, Brown, and Zaccaro. Now, Doug Crossman is the 4th D. I've heard of Doug Crossman. I like Doug Crossman. I have not heard of Zaharko. So I'm going to go Murray, Brown, and Doug Crossman in this game just because I know the name. And for me, it's kind of a nostalgia, sentimental thing. So these 2 defensemen will not be playing tonight for Chicago. So they'll come over here, and we're done. And again, what I like to do is I have 3D and 3D. So I have 4 lines of forwards and 3 lines of D, and then I have my goalie. All right, let's do the same for Boston. Again, this is just me setting it up, and you can set up any way you like, but I like to show how I set up. So Jimmy Craig will be our goalie tonight, and there's my Boston logo right there. Okay, and so now let's line up here. So Borka's on the defense, Cashman's left wing, Crowder right wing, Doka's defense, Dwight Foster right wing, left wing, Stan Jonathan left wing, Stevie Kasper's the center all day long. Bobby Lalonde can play both positions, actually all 3. McTavish can play a couple positions. Donnie Marcotte left wing, McCrimmon D, McNabb center, Larry Melnick is a D. Rick Middleton is going to definitely play in this game. Milbury. Doug Morrison, I don't think he's going to play, so he's going to go off to the side. O'Connell, O'Reilly, Park is definitely playing. Brad Park, probably my favorite defenseman. Oh, boy, look at this team. This team is loaded. Song is not going to play, and then the 2 goalies aren't going to play. All righty, so let's start with my forward. So they're telling me for Boston, on the left, I got Cashman, Marcotte, Jonathan, and Gillis. So Cashman, Marcotte, Jonathan, and Gillis. Sounds good to me. On the right wing, they're telling me I got Middleton, O'Reilly, Foster, and Crowder. Middleton, O'Reilly, Foster, and Crowder. Yep, so that looks good to me. And then in the middle, boy, we have a whole bunch here. So they're telling me McNabb, Casper, Rattel. So McNabb, Casper, Rattel. And then Lalonde, McTavish, Peterson. You know something? I'm going to put in Craig McTavish. So he's going to be my... No, actually, I only need 3 centers. You're right. So definitely McNabb, definitely Casper, definitely Rattel. I'm going to put Rattel in slot number 2. All right, because I like Jean Rattel. He's going to play slot number 2. So that should give me my 4, 3, and 4. Okay, that's just kind of how I do it. It's just easier that way. Now let's take a look at my defenseman for the Bruins. All right, so they're telling me, and what's great about this is you can use this for pretty much any game. So if you have Hockey Bones or Strat or whatever games you're playing, you can use this as a guide, and I do use this as a guide. All right, so they're telling me defense, Park, Redmond, McCrimmon. So Park, Redmond, and McCrimmon over here on the left. O'Connell, Bork, and Milbury. So if you can believe it, Bork is actually second line behind Mike O'Connell. He was still young at that point. So Park, Redmond, McCrimmon. And Doak is not going to play in this one. But you know something? I like Gary Doak. McCrimmon's probably going to take a lot of penalties. So, and his defense is a 4. I'm going to play Gary Doak. All right, so I'm going to swap out a couple of players here just for my own personal preference. All right, so I think the setup is ready to go. Right? So, we're going to take this out of the way. So that's kind of how I set it up. So now I have my thing here, and I'm ready to go. So I got my lines all set up. I have my my score sheet ready to go. And I got all my notes down here. And all right, so let's play this here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to shrink this back down, and I'm going to play this on the helper. Alrighty, I'm going to show you how I use the helper. And again, I'm playing this Dave's way. Alrighty, and I will freely admit that as much as I love APBA hockey, and I will use the word love, I love APBA hockey, the rule book is a mess. It's confusing, and I had to really kind of decipher it and then make it, I don't want to say changes, but I had to make a couple of tweaks to make this game really kind of work for me. And now it works, and it works really well. Okay, so let me slide that up a little bit. Okay. All right, so I'm going to play this Dave's way, and I'm going to walk you through how Dave does it. All right, so let me call up my spreadsheet here. All righty. First thing we're going to do is we're going to reset the clock, and we're going to change the scoreboard, okay, which is something that can be easily done in here. All righty, so I need to change this to Chicago. And again, if I want to get crazy here, I'm gonna drop out of here for 1 second while I do the rhythm. So we're gonna make this red. I'm gonna make this red and this red just to kind of color coordinate. Alrighty, and now I can kind of get rid of this and be back. Okay, so I just kind of changed the color over there. Now what I want to do is I want to reset the scores, and I'm just going to manually put a 0 here. Now there are some things you can screw up on here, but this is not one of them, okay? And period 1. Alrighty. You can also change the shifts if you want. I wouldn't touch the lines, but the scores and all the stuff here that I put in and the shifts you can change. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So now we're all reset. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this. Save as. Whatever. Just I'm going to add a couple numbers to that. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. Now I need to go and look at my lines here. So this is the first thing I'm going to check. So what I do is I have 12, 9, 7, and 5 for the offense for each team. So that means that line 1 is going to get 12 shifts and 9 for line 2 and then 7 and 5. Now this actually adds up to 33 because you only need 30 shifts because you're going to play 2-minute shifts, so it's going to be 10 per period, so it's 30. So that's a little high, so I might want to come down. I might want to make this 11, and that's good enough. That's 31. I guess that's close enough, so that's 20. Oh, that's 32, actually. So maybe I can make this 4. So line 4 is only going to get 4 shifts this afternoon, so they'll play 8 minutes, which is about right, okay? Now let me save that again. And for the defense, kind of the same. There's 30 shifts between the 3 of them here. So I have 15, 11, and 6. So that's going to be a little too high. So what I want to do is maybe make this 14. 10, and 6. So that gives me 30, okay? So that's what it is. All right, so now to plug in the lines, all right, just to make sure that we're clear about how we're going to do the lines, there's one thing you got to do every time you change lines to get it to come out. So this is the away forward line. So we're going to start with 1. So put in 1. The away defensive line is 1. And then the same for the home. Put in 1, 1, 1, and 1, or whoever you want to start. And then you hit -1. And what's going to happen is it's going to subtract 1. You see? So that's now 10, and that's now 13. So what that's doing is keeping track of the lines in the game. Okay? So that way there you can't just keep playing line 1 over and over and over because they'll get tired. In fact, sometimes if this computer or whatever it is picks line 1 too much, you get in the third period and you can't play them as much. You have to play lines 2 and line 3 because line 1 is tired. And I love that. I love the fact that this spreadsheet kind of mimics the coach overusing lines. Now, sometimes you'll see them roll out line 4, and they'll get line 4 out of the way early, and then you don't have to worry about them being a liability late in the game. All right, so I think we're now ready to play. So what we're going to do is have the face-off. Now, if you look at the spreadsheet, below all the numbers over here, there's face-off results, and it's everything from even to advantage +4. So I'm going to look over here. Dennis Savard is a 2, and Peter McNabb is a 3. So McNabb is +1. So I'm going to roll the die by clicking on the die, and it's going to change everything on the board. And we're going to look at the +1 to see who gets the puck. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to spin this. 30 seconds comes off the clock. So everything that's going to happen right now is taking place in the first 30 seconds of the game. So I look at my +1. And now all this does over here, this face-off result, is it just mimics a dice roll and then looking at the face-off chart, which comes with the APBA hockey game. So you're going to get the results here without rolling dice and looking at the chart. It does it for you. So disadvantage left wing. That means that if McNabb is +1, Savard is the disadvantaged wing, a disadvantaged player, and it's going to go to his team to the left wing. So who has the puck? Daryl Sutter has the puck, and we're off and running. So now what I'm going to do is look at my dice rolls here, alrighty, and you can see the roll is 64. Now that's going to be my main roll. So anytime I'm looking at that, that's going to be my main roll of the dice like I was rolling the dice. It says 64. 64 is a 5, okay? So I look at a 5, and a 5 says it's a Soga. Well, hang on a sec. Remember the ODAI, right? This is what I do for ODAI. Instead of adding up the whole lines now and getting a team one, and I know Tebow loves that because he's old school, and that's great. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I used to play it. I now use this chart right here, which I think was developed by Mike Berger. All righty. So what this says is we're going to roll the dice 1 to 6, and this tells us who we're going up against. If I roll a 6, then the 6 means I'm going up against the opposite player as my guy. Alrighty, so what the spreadsheet has done, as you can see, it says ODAI with the right wing in green, right in the top center of the dice rolls. It's already done this roll and calculated it for me, and that's one thing that I had Greg put in for me, is when I had him do, I think it was Greg that did this for me. I said, can you put in a random ODAI roll of every player on the ice, and that way that we can check it out, okay? So that's what I'm using here on the screen. Now, as you can see, this is what happens with the rating. So if he's a defensive rating of 2, there's no change. If he's higher than 2, up to 5, then we can change that by adding 1, 2, or 3. If he's less than 2, then we'll either subtract 1 or 2 from this to get our ODAI number. That's the new way I do ODAI. It's individual players out there. I really like it. The purists hate me for it, but it does work better, and it does work faster because you're not adding it all up, okay? And I used to add it all up beforehand, but what happens if someone comes off the ice? It's kind of messed up. All righty, so we have a 5 going up against the right wing, which is Middleton, who's a defense 4, and we're going to add 2 to that 5 to give us a 7. So that 7 is a shot on goal block plus 2. So I look, we have a block 1 and a block 3, so that gives us 4. So a block 4 plus 2, right, is 6. So no matter what happens, the shot's going to be blocked because we can't roll higher than a 6. Now, if you look at the dice rolling there where it says block, that's the single dice roll for a block. It's a 5. So they rolled a 5 on the block, and again, I wouldn't have to roll because a 6, you can't get higher than a 6 because we have 4 total plus 2. So shot on goal, but a block plus 2, the shot is blocked. Now, so the shot is going to be blocked. Now, what we would normally do is roll on the block chart to see what happens with a puck. But this spreadsheet already has done that for us. So if we look down below here on blocked shot result, okay, below the scoreboard, it says puck deflects to the center. So on this sequence, Daryl Sutter gets the faceoff. He comes over the line. His shot is blocked, and it bounces to the center, Peter McNabb. Okay, so I don't know if you followed all that. And the great thing about this spreadsheet is you can change this. You can change these to whatever you want to change it to. And I'm always changing them to see what I'm going to need in the game of APBA. So, but right now, I just have it set up like this, okay? All righty, so we've played 30 seconds. Savard wins the faceoff. Daryl Sutter got a shot on net. It was blocked in front. You can determine who got the block. There is a way you can determine that. I don't. That's not a big deal for me. But anyway, the puck goes to Peter McNabb. And we got a couple of visitors here. David C. comes by, if I didn't already mention you. 007 comes by. And whatever works faster for me. This does work faster. I find it easier. And I like the fact that I can just keep everything right here in the spreadsheet. It keeps my time. It has everything at my fingertips right here for the most part, okay? Somebody even sent me this here with the some of the results on the other side of the spreadsheet as far as the charts go. So I'm using a lot less charts too, by the way. PJet is late again. That's all right, PJet. There's a little delay. RJL comes by. Yeah, we got some hockey here tonight. Showing this off. And Charles says this ODAI system rules. He uses it too. Yes. And I remember when I read the article when I think it was Mike Berger designed this, he said you're going to hate it at first, but give it a couple tries and you're going to figure out how fast it actually is. And it is much faster. All right, so let's continue on. So McNabb has the puck. So now we're going to roll again. So we just click on the dice and we're going to get all new rolls, new face-offs, new block shots, new everything. Here we go. So now this is the next 30 seconds. So we rolled a 61. A 61 is a 28. I look at the chart. There's no ODAI for a 28. I don't got to worry about it. And under forecheck 2, a 28 is intercepted by the right wing with an X. So McNabb makes the play. He's bumped off the puck. It squirts over here to the opposing right wing, Tim Higgins. And that's all that happened on that. So let's roll the dice again. Now you can see the shift counting down. It was at 4. Now it's at 2. And after this, it'll go to 1. So the shift number counts down and lets you know when to change lines too. This game has it set for every 2 minutes. You can do more or less than that if you want, but this is designed for 2 minutes, which I think is fine. And I know the modern era, they change up every 30 or 40 seconds, but in a board game, you really do, you don't want to be changing lines every 30 seconds. That would just be a lot to do. So every 2 minutes is fine, and you get your shifts in. Okay, so we're going to go roll the dice here. So Tim Higgins for the Chicago Blackhawks has the puck, and ID stops by. ID, this is my new 1980-81 set that came in the other day that I'm breaking out and playing, and I'm just kind of going along with the spreadsheet here to show how I play some APBA. All right, so let's roll the dice. So I have a 16, and again, another 30 seconds off the clock. A 16 says 28. Well, we just had that. And that's intercepted by the right wing. So Higgins has the puck. He probably takes a hack from Wayne Cashman, and the puck squirts over, and Rick Middleton swoops up to pick it up. And my second favorite Bruin will roll the dice. We rolled another 16, and that is going to be another 28, so 3 28s in a row. He loses that to the right wing. All right, see how it says shift 0? It's time to change the lines up, okay? What's really cool about this spreadsheet, look at below the clock, and where it says shift, and you see where it says lines 3 and 2 and lines 2 and 2, that's what the coach is going to put out next. And it will always be different than what you have on the ice. And it will create some different matchups. So right now, it's telling me line 2 defense for Chicago, line 3 offense, okay? And again, what I do is I'm using the Hockey Bones line change where the guy with the puck stays on the ice everybody else changes. That's just how I do it. I found that this works the best for me. I was using the dump and change, and that can lead to some fun corner battles, okay, with the puck goes in the corner, we battle for it, and might lead to a scoring chance. And I've scored goals on that before. So I every now and then I do break out that, but this has been more fun for me. And I talked about that on the show today, how I really kind of made APBA a basic hockey game, and I like it a lot right now. So he's going to hang on to the puck. So we got 3 and 2. Now Boston, the coach is going to roll out 2 and 2. Oh, nice and easy. Okay. So we have Ray Bork. Unfortunately, Mike said, Ray Bork got a coffee stain or something, but that's okay. I'll live with it. You know, I still love this game. So what you need to do is come over to your lines, click on here, and put 3 and 2, and then 2 and 2. All right? And then when I hit -1, you're going to see it subtract from the lines over here. So here we go. Subtract. Okay. So you can see Boston, that 9 went to an 8. And on the defense, we subtracted 10 to 9. And over here, line 3 went from 7 to 6. And then line 2 went from 10 to 9. So this is counting down the amount of shifts played in the game. And this is something you set manually before the game. And then the game will count it down. I think it's pretty darn cool, you know. Okay, so let's continue on. So Higgins has the puck, so he's going to roll the dice, finish this 30 seconds, and then he will change it up. That's kind of how I play it, and there's no wrong way. All right, so Higgins with the puck, and you're going to see this shift here, which is now red and 0. It's going to change back to a 4, or a 3, rather. Yeah, because we've got 3 rolls left on this shift. All right, a 55. That's usually pretty good. So a 55 is a 1. Now, we can check the ODAI. It says left wing, so he's going to get against Don Marcotte, who's a 4. So that 1's going to turn into a 3, because we're going to, if we get, so you can see here, you see this defense rating in the middle. So below the lines, there's a defense rating here, and you can see how it's written out. So a 4 is we add 2. So on a 1, we add 2 to a 3, and it's going to be a shot on goal anyway. So a 1 is 99% of the time going to be a shot on net. We don't even have to think about it, okay? So we're going to get our first shot on net. So Higgins got it, and he's going to get a shot. So I'm going to click here for S, and that's going to add a shot for the Blackhawks. Now I look underneath my roll of 55 for shot, and shot is a 13. That's my shot roll. So instead of rolling again, my roll's already on the screen. His shot range is 25. And so a 13 is in range. So his shot's in range. Now, I like to keep track of the in range, so I'm going to click on this and manually type 1. Okay, that's just for me. I like to know how many in-range shots there are and how many goalies will make the save. It's almost like if you're reading off the goalie card in Strat or something like that. And I do the same for Hockey Bones. I like to see how many in-range chances are. In-range means a possible goal. Okay, so I got 1 shot, and that shot has been in range. So Chicago rolls really well. So I got a 13. That's in range. So here's the shot by Higgins. Can Jim Craig, yes, Jim Craig, the playoff hero, one of the reasons I got this season, is in net for Boston. Can he make the save? Well, my save roll, as you can see right next to the shot, is a 64. So let's see on the save. A 64 is a 6. And if I look at a potential goal, on my chart, a 6 is a save, and Jim Craig smothers it for a face-off. Okay. PJ says, why was Marcotte the opponent for Higgins on the ODAI? If you look next to the dice roll of 55, that ODAI says left wing in green. That's who I'm going up against for ODAI for my individual check. And this is what I'm using right here. Okay, so in effect, we're rolling a 6-sided die. 1 through 5 tells me the matchup. And again, 6, if you roll a 6, it's the player opposite of you. Okay, so in this particular case, the visitor right wing had the puck, and he's going up against the left wing, so we rolled a 2. Okay, so the spreadsheet rolled a 2, and that called up the left wing. So that's who I went up against for the ODAI. And again, this individual ODAI works well because it prevents you or keeps you from having to do the whole lineup ODAI every single time you change. At this point here, with this guy on the court, on the ice rather, the ODAI changes from what I had. But now I don't have to do team ODAI. I do individual ODAI, and I can look at the 4. I know instinctively I'm adding 2, and we added 2 to the 1, and it's still going to be a shot on net. Okay, so that's kind of how it goes. Big save by Craig, yeah. So Craig hangs on, in-range shot. So now Higgins will go to the bench because he completed his shift with the puck. I love that because if he had scored, he would get some assists from guys he doesn't normally play with. So during a line change, he scored the goal, and I think that adds a little bit to the flavor of the game when you're doing line changes this way. Again, just kind of my opinion. All right, let me have some of my Canada Dry Zero Sugar Ginger Ale. All right. Now, incidentally, someone asked on the Facebook page today or the other day, how do you play games and not have the wife get mad at you, right? Well, the wife come home from work. She's been sick for 2 weeks, like real sick, but she managed to get back to work for a couple of days. So she comes home, we had dinner, we watched a little TV, and she's in bed. So that's one way of getting around playing is if your wife is sick. And I'm hoping she gets better because she's been sick way too long. All right, so the face-off's in the Boston zone, and again, that's why I put these things here, so I know it's a defensive zone face-off. If you want, you could probably put the puck on the goalie or whatever you want. But in APBA, one of the really cool things about APBA, and even Hockey Bones, is that there's a slight bonus for taking an offensive zone face-off. All righty, so let's look at the face-off. So now we have Rattel, who's a 4, and Ruskowski, who's a 3, so Boston is +1 on the face-off. So I'm going to hit my dice, and we're going to look at the face-off result chart, which is right below all the dice rolls. And we're going to look at advantage 1. So here we go. So we're going to start a fresh set of lines here, and here we go. So 17:30 on the clock. So in this 30 seconds of gameplay, again, it's disadvantage center. Wow, we got a lot of face-off wins by the disadvantage team. So Ruskowski gets the puck. Disadvantage center. So Ruskowski has the puck in the offensive zone. That's key. We roll a 23. A 23 is a 22. Now, instead of looking at the normal chart, I'm going to use the optional offensive defensive zone chart. Okay? And thanks to ID for working with me on getting these charts printed up. And I have these all. And again, I use these little L brackets here to keep the charts in. And it does a nice job of holding them up over here. It does. It just kind of get at right away, so I'm not flipping through the book. I do have the book over here, by the way, too, so just everybody knows. But instead of flipping through the book, I have the charts all laid out, and it just makes everything so much better. All right, so Ruskowski rolls a 23, which is a 22. And on this chart, it's intercepted by the center X. So Ruskowski has it off the faceoff, but he loses it, and Rattel takes it away, and now Rattel's going to get it. All right, so let's roll the dice for Rattel. A 12. A 12 is a 25. So Rattel has it. He's bumped off the puck, and he was just going to dump this in the corner, intercepted by the right DX. All right, so Rattel gets it. He flips it into the far corner. Keith Brown is the right D, and he's going to have it for Chicago. All right, so this is going to be the last roll on this shift, and he's got a 56. That's going to be a 33. All righty, so 33 on the chart says coincidental penalty if I roll a 2 to an 8. Alrighty. Now, I like to use the Mike Berger chart. And this is the Mike Berger chart right here. Alrighty. So, on a 33, here's my results, 11 to 66. So, I'm going to use the split roll, alrighty, on my dice roll, which is a 44. So the bottom right-hand corner is my split roll. I just called it split. It's just kind of my extra roll for whatever I need, okay? So it says a 44. So we're going to check for a misconduct. Otherwise, a neutral zone face-off, alrighty? So we're going to check for a misconduct. And so his major misconduct is 0. So he's got a 0, so there's not going to be a misconduct. So he has the puck. There was something really crazy going on. Alrighty, there was pushing and shoving. Referees separate him. He thought about giving him misconduct for something he said. He said, no, I'm not going to give you misconduct. So we're just going to have a neutral zone face-off. So we'll come out the center. But now my shift is down to 0, so I need to put some lines back out there. Now look at the coach right there. It says lines 1 and 1 and lines 1 and 1 up on my scoreboard. So the coach says we want line 1 back out here. for offense and defense, and Chicago says, okay, we'll do the same thing. Even though Chicago had to put their guys out first because they're the visitor. But you see where I'm going with this. Alrighty, so we're going to have a line change, a face-off at center. And now I need to go change my lines. Again, this is important to keep track of all the lines that are out there. 1 and 1, and 1 and 1, and 1 and 1. So every 1 1, I hit minus, and it's going to subtract the first line up here. So now you can see that the away team, line 2 and line 1, only have 9 shifts left. So they've used line 1 quite a bit. Alrighty. It looks like I cleared out my recorded quality shot on goal. No, I still got 1 shot on goal and one in range on the scoreboard. It's just the 1 shot. Jimmy Jam coming by, and you like to see a different game. He doesn't know. Yeah, this is APBA hockey, and I'm kind of showing how I play it on the spreadsheet. And I'll pick up the pace in a little bit, but I kind of wanted to kind of get this going here, just kind of slow to show some people, A, how to play APBA hockey, and B, how to use the helper, which really, really speeds things up. All right, so we got a face-off. So neutral zone face-off. So we have a 3 and a 2. So again, Boston is a +1 on the advantage. So let's roll the dice. And advantage left D. So finally, Bruins win a face-off. So it comes back to Brad Park, probably my second favorite defensive player in the game. So Brad Park rolls a 36. Again, my roll up there in the top left is a 36. And that's a 34. And this is a 34 is a 34 is a 34. So 34 is a minor here, and it's also a minor in the game. So Brad Park goes into the corner. He got his stick up, and he caught Higgins with a high stick, and he's going to go for 2 minutes. So Brad Park will get a penalty here, and we're going to get a power play for Chicago. So I'm going to pull out my power play chart, and I'm going to put this over here because the power play chart supersedes everything. Park will go to the box. And what I do, again, you can do whatever you want. For my first power play, I kind of do it like Strat. Line 1 gets your first power play. A second power play, it's line 2, etc., etc., etc. Alrighty, so I'm going to have Cashman sit out. He's got a lot of 34s. So he takes a lot of penalties, so I don't need to get on by 2 men. So Cashman's going to sit out, and McNabb will technically be my left winger here. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this manually from 3 to 4. Okay? Because that's going to be my power play now. All right, so I'm going to get 4 kicks of the cat on the power play. I think, no, it's a 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it's going to be. All righty, so I'm not going to touch anything over here for the power play. All righty. Actually, we'll leave line 1 out there. I'm going to put line 1 out there, so we'll leave it at that. All right, so let's do the power play. Now, remember, what we did earlier is when we set up our score sheet, the Chicago power play, we add 0, and the Boston penalty kill, we do not subtract or add anything. So it's going to be just a straight-up +2 for Chicago, which is the typical power play bonus. All right, so we got a face-off now, and it's still +1 for Boston on the face-off. So here we go. Advantage right wing. So Middleton's going to get the puck. We roll a 16. We look at the shorthanded, and a 28 off of 16. The shorthanded chart is going to be intercepted by the right wing. No X. There's no time roll on this. So Middleton loses it to the right wing to Higgins. Higgins now, so now we're going to hit the no time roll. All righty, so that 15 should not change. All righty, so a 21. That's going to be a 31 on the power play chart. That's going to be a pass if Boston has less than 12 on physical. All right, so they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So that's going to be a pass. And what I like to do is when I look over here at the BLKHSF, okay, that's your highest shot frequency player. So I look at that number there in white, and it's a 3. So that means it goes to the highest shot frequency, and that's going to be over here to Sutter. That's just kind of how I play it, okay? So that's going to be a pass. Still no time coming off the clock, so another no time roll. So my roll's a 44, and a 44 is a 1, is a 1, is a 1. It's going to be a shot on goal. So Sutter's going to get a shot on goal, so here's my shot. All righty. And his shot roll is a 51. His shot range is a 34 + 2. It's a 36. It's going to be out of range. That's a decent shot range on the power play. It's very good, actually. So that's going to be a save by Craig. A save by Craig on a 26. It's a 20, and that's picked up by the opponent right D and an X, so we do have some time to come off the clock. So Craig makes a save. It comes around the boards to Murray, and now Murray will get it, and he'll roll. All righty. So, I forgot to put in my penalty here on my home score sheet. So that the first period, and was it like 15:30 for Brad Park? 2 minutes. Okay. All righty. So now that's the first 30 seconds gone. So Murray with it now. And Murray has a 13. That's a 7. Shot on goal, block plus 2. My block is 1. Plus 1 is 2. Plus 2 is a 4. And if I look at my red block roll, it's a 3. So the shot is indeed blocked. I look down at my block shot result below the scoreboard. The puck is smothered for a face-off. So good job by Redmond to block the shot. And the puck gets caught in his equipment. And he ties it up. And now we have another power play here. So here we go. Face off in the Boston zone, +1 for Boston. Advantage left D, so this goes back to Redmond. He rolls a 21. That's a 31, shorthanded. Pass, physical 8. They get 3, 6, 9, so I don't even have to go any further. So he does not pass the check, so it's going to be intercepted by the center. No time comes off the clock. We're going to roll the dice. That's a 31 on my roll, which is a 5. That's a shot on goal for Savard. His range is 26 plus 2, so that kicks that up to what, 31, 32 or something like that? It won't matter because he rolled a 23. So that's a shot, and that's in range. I will manually change that to 2. So that shot is in range. An 11 on Jim Craig's card is a 1. And Jim Craig with another save on an in-range shot, and the Olympic goalie is playing fantastic, and the puck will bounce over to Dick Redmond. Alrighty, so this should end the power play here. 46 for Dick Redmond is a 41. And yes, he gets a neutral zone faceoff. Now it says neutral zone faceoff 2-9 or rare play 10-12, and I'm not really playing rare plays anymore. All right, so Redmond gets it out the center. He clogs it up. There's a whistle, and the power play is over. So I will take my chart here, and I will put this off to the side, and the Bruins kill off the man advantage. As Marco comes by, and of course I got his Hawks on the table, right? Of course I got the Hawks on the table. Alrighty, so now when we do line changes, because I have line 1 out here, I think what I'm going to do is I like to look to see who hasn't been on the ice yet. Line 4 hasn't come out. So let's put line 4 out for each team. Again, you can manually do this. Nothing says that you can't. And so they haven't played yet. So we'll get line 4 a shift here after that penalty was killed. And again, for me, with only 3 centers, the line 1 center double shifts. That's just kind of how Dave does it. And for defense, let's go line 3. So let's put all the bottom guys out at once. All right? So we'll get line 4 and line 3 for each team. And that's just kind of how I'm going to do it. So you come over here. You want to go line 4, away defense 3, home forward 4, and home defense 3. And now you hit your minus button, and now we're ready to go. All right, so face off a neutral ice. It's a +1 for Boston, and we roll the dice. Disadvantage left wing. So John Marks, he rolls a 54. That's going to be a 32, and the 32 is a pass, but it'll be picked off if Boston has a physical rating of 14. So we have 5 with Crowder, 6, 9, 10, 11, 14. And they do. They got the 14. So the physical play of Crowder knocks Marks off the puck, and Mike Gillis, the left wing, swoops in and picks it up for Boston. So Boston has the puck now here. We roll the dice. It's a 25. That's a 3. And he's going up against the right D ODAI. So Doug Crossman steps up on Gillis. Doug Crossman, the right D, is only a 1, though. Okay, Doug Crossman's only a 1. So on a 1, you subtract. Okay, look at my defensive ratings right here. We're going to subtract this 1. So Gillis, again, we rolled a 3. That's going to turn into a 2. And that's going to be a shot on goal for Gillis. His range is 22. I rolled a 26. So here's our first shot on net for Boston. It only took 7.5 minutes. So Boston finally gets a shot on Tony Esposito, my favorite goaltender. And That's going to be out of range. Now come over here to Esposito's card. A 16 is a 28. And now it's going to be a shot on goal for the fourth highest shot frequency unless they can clear it away. All righty? So let's see if Chicago can clear it away. And how that's going to work is, so I got to remember it's going to be the fourth highest. So what I like to do is look at that guy and give him the puck anyway, just so I know who it's going to be. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the puck would go to Milbury if they can't clear it, okay? So the clear rating is 1. The clear rating is 4. I look at my clear roll, and it's an 8, all right? So I rolled, see, on the clear 4 and the 4, it's an 8. So that means they don't clear it because the clear roll beat the defenseman. The defensemen have to beat the clearing roll, and they didn't. So Milbury will get that shot, okay? Yes, he will get the shot as the fourth highest shooter. However, Milbury is a 9. And how I play it in APBA is that if you don't have a shot frequency of 12, you need to roll the dice to see if you get the shot away. So Milbury roll is a shot frequency of 9. So that means I have to roll 9 or less on my two-sided roll. If I look at my split roll, it's a 12 or a 3. So 3 is less than 9. So Milbury will get the shot on the net. All righty? So I'm going to give him a no-time roll so I can get a fresh set of dice out here. It says my no-time roll. Okay, the shot range is 31. Again, I play shot range, not the actual roll. So I'm going to go to the shot range, which is 31. His range is 0. So really, I don't think he can even score a goal, realistically. So his shot range is 0, so it's a shot on the net. Save Esposito. 13 is a 5, and that's picked up by the right wing, Steve Larmer. And that's kind of how that sequence goes. And now Larmer, the right wing, has it. We'll get a fresh roll. A 16 for Larmer is a 35, and a 35, we're going to go to the chart here. My split roll is 24. That's going to be a minor penalty. Alrighty, so Larmer picks up a minor penalty. And if I want, I do have the exact time in here, which is kind of neat. So the clock says 12 minutes, but if you look down over here in the yellow, the exact time is 7:36. So I kind of like that. I like the little, down to the seconds type of thing. That's just what I like to do. So Larmer is going to get a penalty, and he will sit out. So now it's Boston's first power play. So, again, I like to go 1-1 on the power play. And then I alternate 1s and 2s like Strat. So here's line 1. Now, who's going to sit out here for Chicago? I look for 34s. So Higgins has got a lot of 34s, so he's going to sit out. Okay, well, he's got 34s too. Any 30s? No. Oh, he does have a 30. Oh, he's got a 32. Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do here in the power play. So let me pull up my power play thing over here. What I want to do is I want to put 4 over here. That's going to be my new shift because we're starting a brand new power play. And Larmer's in the box, and Boston goes on the man advantage. Now, Boston, all right, I get their shot range is +2 for the power play, but it's also because they're +1, that's going to be a +3 and a +4. And if you're wondering where I got those, online on the APBA website, when you get a season, you can print these out for free, and you can see Boston's power play is +1, Chicago's PK is +1, so that's going to give Boston 2 on top of the 2, so they will add 4 to every in-range shot. All right, so here we go. The face-off, McNabb 3, Savard 2, so Boston +1 on the face-off. And Charles is saying go Hawks. And Doug stops by as well. Thanks for coming by, Doug. I'm just kind of showing off some APBA hockey tonight, showing off my new season, showing off Jim Craig, and just kind of going slow with the APBA helper here. All right, so let's look at the face-off results under +1. And advantage lefty. So McNabb wins it back to Park, and Park will start the power play. Park rolls a 46. On the man advantage shot, a 41. It's either a neutral zone face-off or a rare play. And again, I'm not playing rare plays tonight, so neutral zone face-off. So his pass hits a stick and goes out of play, and we'll get a face-off. All right, so again, +1 Boston. advantage center. So Peter McNabb gets it. He'll skate around with it, and he'll start the power play. A 22, a 1. Well, that's going to be a shot on net. All righty, so McNabb comes down on the power play, makes a move, splits to D. That's a shot on net. His range is 31 plus 4 to 35. A shot roll of 12. Well, that's in range. All righty, so McNabb dancing in on Esposito, shoots this one. A save of 56 is a 34, and McNabb scores. So Peter McNabb scores for the Bruins on the power play is my home goal, and the Bruins lead 1-0. All righty, so Peter McNabb scores. Now my exact time is 8:47. So Peter McNabb with the goal. So let's see who gets the assist now. Now if I go to my assist roll, okay, again, it's a 35. So for Boston, 11-51 here on my chart is 2 assists. So it's going to be 2 assists, okay? Now, this is the chart that I picked up from somebody as well. I don't think it was Mike Berger. It was somebody else that had a terrific way of doing assists. So if you look below the face-off results, I have this thing right here, okay? That's just an image of assists. So my split roll of 22 says 1 and 2. So if I'm getting 2 assists, it's 1 and 2. If it was 1 assist, it would just be 1. But right next to 22, it says 1 and 2. So it's going to be the highest and second highest. So I'm assuming Park and Cashman and Middleton will be there. So I got a 41 and a 35. All righty. 31 and a 45. Yep. So McNabb from Middleton and Park. And it's 1-0 Boston on the power play. And again, doing assists is just so nice now compared to what the game wants you to do. All righty, so that's the power play. Boston scores, Chicago pays, and we go back to full strength. Now, let's put out some lines here. So let's get line 2 out here. So Chicago, line 2. And for defense, line 1. And I'm just looking at some of the higher numbers here because I'm trying to balance it out. So for Boston, we'll do line 3 and line 1 for Boston. All righty. So 2 and 1 and 3 and 1, and that's where we're going to stand. I don't penalize anybody for power play time. So if line 1 or line 2's out there on the power play, I really don't penalize them at all. So it's not, they could play 4 minutes back to back. Just kind of how I do it because line changes. Again, it's all kind of at the end of it. As long as you get it right at the end of the period. Oh, and I wanted line 1 out here anyway. All right, so line 1. So what do we got? 2 and 1 and 3 and 1. All right, so Boston with the lead, and we're going to continue on here. 11 minutes ago in the first period. Lysiak is a 4, and Casper is a 4. So we're going to get even on the face-off this time. Oh, and I need to change this back to 4 manually because the power play is over. So we're going to put that back to a 4. And here we go. So even on the draw. Here's the face-off. Even as visitor left wing. So it's going to go to Edward Harvey Ted Bully. So we'll call him Ted Bully. Bully rolls a 33. That's a 1. Now he's going up against the opponent, which would be O'Connell, who's a 4. So we add 2, but that's a 3. And again, a 1 is a 1 is a 1. So that's going to be a shot on net. Holy cow, his shot range is a 25, and I rolled a 13. So Bully gets this face-off. It's on net and in range. So Chicago has 4 shots, 3 of them in range. This is nuts. So Bully coming down the wing, fires this one far side, a 45, and a score. He slides it by Craig on the far side, and Bully has tied this up for Chicago at 1-1. So the time of the goal is 9:27 of the first period. Bully with the goal as line 2 getting it done. I rolled a 35, which is going to be 2 assists, and on my split of 11, it's showing me 1 and 2. So we're going to get Lysiak and Murray. So Tom Lysiak will get 1 assist, and Bob Murray will get the second. So just like that, not many shots on net. 4 for Chicago and 3 for Boston, and already it's 1-1. So here we go. All right, so even on the face-off. Home right D, Mike O'Connell. We rolled a 42. That's going to be a 6 going up against the right wing, so that 6 turns into a 7. So it's a shot block plus 2. I don't even need to check because I only rolled a 2 on my block die, so that's automatically blocked, and it deflects into a crowd for a defensive zone face-off. All right, so another even draw between Casper and Lysiak. Home right wing. So Dwight Foster has it in the offensive zone. A 33 is a shot on net for Dwight Foster. Now, his shot range is 34, and I rolled a 36. I just missed it. So Foster's shot saved by Esposito. A 64 is a 5, and that's picked up by the right wing, Glenn Sharpley. Sharpley will get a fresh roll. A 33. He's going to get a shot on net, and that's in range with a 14. Holy cow. Another in-range shot. They are just rolling immensely tonight. And a 61 is a score. So Sharpley scores as well. And the Blackhawks now with a couple of quick goals. What's this, the Stanley Cup? And they score again. So Sharpley picks up the goal at 10:31. So a minute and 4 seconds apart. Bully and Sharpley score for the Blackhawks. Now my assist of 56 is 1 assist. And if I look at 65, oh, man, if I got 2 assists, that would have been a goalie assist because it's 1 G for a 65. But because I rolled 1 assist, it's going to be the 4th side. So it's going to be the lowest assist on the ice. And that's going to be 23, 33, Bully. All right, so Sharpley from Bully. So Bully with a goal and an assist in this game, in this period. And it's 2-0, 2-1 for the Blackhawks. All right, so that shift is up. So now they want to go 2-2 for Boston. So we'll get lines 2 back out here. And for Chicago, they want to go 3-3. And so we'll get 3 and 3 out here. What I'll do is I'll just finish the period. I won't play a whole game here. I'll just play the period. But I did want to show you guys a little bit of how I play APBA hockey with a helper. All right, so let's go 3-3. So we're going to go 3 and 3 and 2 and 2. Okay, so now it's going to be +1 Boston on the faceoff. Here we go. +1 Boston, advantage right wing, Terry O'Reilly. A 31 is a 7. Shot block +2. My block roll of 1 is not going to beat it, so this shot is going to be blocked. And the block says it deflects to the center, so Ruskowski gets it. No time roll. 24. And that's going to be a 9, and that's a block shot, and that deflects into the crowd for a face-off. So we got a face-off over here in the Boston zone, and it's coming up on 8 minutes to play in the first period. Blackhawks lead 2-1. Again, the in-roll chances are unbelievable. I mean, I've been rolling so low for Chicago. Good for them. All right, again, +1 on the face-off. Disadvantage left D, so Dave Hutchinson at the point. A 34 is a 31. A pass, but is it a 14? So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, he'll make the pass. And he will make this pass to the second highest forward here. So there's 1, 2. So he's going to send it over to Secord. All right, so a no time roll is a 21. Now we go back to the regular chart, which is a 31. A pass physical 10. No, we just counted the physical in this, so he's going to lose this puck to Dick Redmond. Time comes off the clock and a fresh roll. 14 for Redmond. 30 is icing. I remember that. So icing by Redmond. So 7.5 to go here in the period. Hawks lead 2-1. Let's go to the face-off, and again, it's +1 Boston. And disadvantage left wing. So Secord's going to get it in the offensive zone. 66 is a 1. That's a shot on net. Shot range of 21. I rolled a 44, so we record the shot, but that's out of range. A 31 is a 5, and it's picked up by the right wing, so it's going to be O'Reilly with it. O'Reilly. All right, so they're going to go line 1 and line 3 for Boston. Chicago's going to go 1 and 1. All righty, so we got 1 and 1, and then 1 and 3. And again, this keeps counting down these shifts here during the game so you don't overload one and you get different matchups, which is, I love that. It replaces my little cards that I made. You remember them? All right, O'Reilly with the puck. 65 to 37. We got to fight. Let's see here. Let me go here. So let me check my split roll to 62. Oh, no, it's coincidental minors. Alrighty, so here on my burger chart, 62 on my split is coincidental minors. So who gets the coincidental minors? Well, let's get a no time roll, a new split roll of 63. And coincidental minors, that's going to be the 5th highest. Holy cow. So O'Reilly with the 5th highest minor. So from minors, we have 22, 22, 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be actually Wilson. So O'Reilly and Wilson will go to the box, and we're going to have some penalties here. So in the first period at 13-17, we got some coincidentals between Wilson and O'Reilly. .630. Okay. All right, so now I think we actually do play 4-on-4 at this point. So we'll do this like that. I do believe, let me just double check here. I'm pretty sure that when we're playing 4-on-4, we go to forecheck 3 for each team, and we bump up the shots by 2. I'm pretty sure that special team circumstances. 4-on-4, forecheck 3, and shot range by 2. Yep. Okay, so that is correct. All right, so I was right on that. Okay. All right, so we're playing 4-on-4. So we're going to go to forecheck 3, and we're going to play an extra 2 on the shot range. All right, so let's put this here. So we'll all right, we'll finish out this shift here, and we'll play it here. So we got a face-off here, +1 Boston. And disadvantage right wing. So Savard's technically the right wing, so he will get it. A 45 is a 26, and a 26 is intercepted, and a shot on goal by the left wing. All right, because again, we're in forecheck 3, so you're going to get those interceptions and shot on goal. So McNabb, right, we'll double check that. 45 is a 26, intercepted and shot on goal by the left wing. So McNabb is the left wing. So these guys are playing left wing. There's no center on the power play. So McNabb's going to get a shot on goal. Of course, I roll out of range for Boston, right? So that shot is going to be a save by Esposito. Even if I added to that, even if I added the 2 for the 4-on-4, it's still out of range. Esposito, 34, will make the save. A 31 on a save is saving a shot on goal for the right wing. So it comes over to Middleton. So Middleton's going to get a shot on goal. So we're going to get a no-time roll for Middleton. A 45 is out of range. It's going to be another save by Esposito. A 55 is a 2, and that's picked up by the right D. All righty, so a couple of nice bids there by Boston on the 4-on-4. Tony Esposito, though, coming up big. And Murray with the puck now. Murray rolls a 41. That's going to be a 24, and this is intercepted by Gary Doak. Time comes off the clock. Gary Doak rolls a 23. That's a 22, and this is intercepted by the center. Now, there's no center, so I roll again. A 22 this time is a 7. That's a shot on goal block +1. Now, I rolled the 1, so that's automatically blocked, and it deflects to the center. Now, there's no center, so I believe on a block with no position, it's covered up by the goaltender. It's a face-off down below, I believe. So if it deflects, I think that's how it goes. If it deflects to a position, you either roll again or it's a face-off. So we're going to call it a face-off. Alrighty, I'm not going to dig that out. So we got a face-off. So I need to make a line change here. So we're going to go 3-1 for Boston. Ew. And again, we got 30 seconds left of the 4-on-4, and Chicago's going 2-2. So Fox will stay out. 2-2. We're going to have Sharpley and Jonathan sit for the 30 seconds left. Alrighty, so it's a 4-on-4 for 30 seconds. So I need to put this in here. So I got a 2 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1. Okay. Face off in the Chicago zone, and it's a even on the draw between Casper and Lysiak. Even home right D. So it comes back to O'Connell at the point. A 55 is a shot on net. His shot range is 16. That's a save by Esposito. A 64 is a 5, and that's picked up by the right wing. And that's Lysiak. So now the men come out of the box, so we're back to 5-on-5. And Lysiak will keep the puck because he was right wing at the point of impact. And we'll continue on here now. A 63 is a 16. He goes up against the left wing. Jonathan's a 4, so that 16 becomes an 18. And that's going to be intercepted by the right wing. So Dwight Foster has it. And that's just, okay, we're back to forecheck 2. So make sure that I get it right here. So forecheck 2 is, yep, no shot on goal on that one. So Dwight Foster with it now, who ended up with the Colorado Rockies at one point. And I think Detroit too. 27, intercepted by the center. So Lysiak with a steal. Lysiak coming the other way for the Chicago Blackhawks. Lysiak rolls a 46. This is a 42. And we got a possible bench minor and then a neutral zone faceoff. So I look at my split roll for Boston. Bench minor is 16, so that's a no. Let me roll another one. And no. So no bench minor. The faceoff will come to center. And we got to make a line change. So for Boston, they're going to roll out lines 4 and line 2. And Chicago's going to go 3 and 1. All right, so 3 and 1 and 4 and 2. 3 and 1 and 4 and 2. You know, it's kind of weird. We haven't really had an Arsog or a Soga here tonight, which I wanted to show those off. We haven't got one yet. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's just the year we're playing. All right, so we got Ruskowski and McNabb even on the draw. Even is a visitor left wing. So Al Secord, a 51 is a 3. Going up against Bork. Oh, boy. That 3 turns into a 6. Shot on goal, block +1. So we get a 2, 3, 4, 5. I rolled the 5, so the shot is blocked and deflects into the crowd. So good job by Bork getting a stick on that one. So now we got a face-off in the Boston zone. And, again, we're even on the draw. And it's going to be, it says tossed out. I don't like to do the toss out. Let's just do it again. Visitor lefty. So Doug Wilson with a puck at 23 is a 5 going up against Gillis, who's a 2, so that'll remain a 5. A 5 is a Soga. All right, so we finally have our first Soga to check on. A Soga means we're going to get a shot on net if anybody has an assist rating equal to the roll of the dice or higher. So, yes, so right off the bat, Murray's a 35, we got a 25, so Wilson's going to get the shot on net. His range is a 13, we rolled a 52. That'll be a save by Jim Craig. A 46 is a 44, and that's going to be a rebound. All right, so we get to do a rebound now. So the rebound is a 5 and a 5 on my rebound in my tip roll. So a 5 is going to go to the second highest I rating. So it's going to be an 8, an 8, and a 9. So let's give it to Al Secord, okay? I like to give it to the forwards on the rebounds. I guess I could check the defense. They're low anyway. So Secord is an 8 and with a 5. So an 8 with a 5 is going to be on the rebound. Shot on goal +4. Wow. All right, so Secord's going to get the shot on goal +4. Now, I haven't used my shot rating yet on this one here, I don't believe. No, I think I did. Yeah, that's what got us the rebound, I think. All right, so let me just do a fresh roll anyway. And this is not in range, so it's another shot and a save on the rebound. And a 26 is a 20, and that'll be picked up by the opponent, right D, in a time frame. All righty, so Secord gets the rebound shot. Jim Craig with another save. That's 8 shots now for the Blackhawks. Low shooting period here. Low shots on net. Murray with it now. Murray rolls a 44. Oh, boy. That's going to be another shot. A shot on net, 14. It's out of range. That's a save by Craig. A 5 is picked up by the right wing, and that's Crowder. So Crowder with the puck. He rolls a 44. That will be a shot on net. His shot range of 31. Oh, boy. So that's on net and in range. So Crowder coming down the wing, goes around Secord, comes in, fires this one on Esposito, and he scores. So Keith Crowder on the fourth line here for Boston, the fourth line for Boston, has tied the game at 18:57. So, interesting period here as we had different players scoring. So, 18:57, and is Keith Crowder for Boston. And he ties it just before the period ends, right at the end of the shift, too. A 46 will be 2 assists, and a 21 is going to be 3 and 4, actually. So, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, Gillis and Redmond. So, Keith Crowder from Gillis and Dick Redmond. And that's where we stand, folks. It is 2-2. And now we need to do a line change. So, Boston wants to put out 3 and 1 to finish the period. And Chicago's going to roll out 1 and 2. So good game right here in 1980 between Boston and Chicago. And so let's go 1 and 2. And 3 and 1. And there we go. All right, so a minute to go in the period. Face off at center. We have 2 and 4, so it's a +2 for Boston on the face-off. A +2, advantage left wing. So Stan Jonathan with the puck. A 25 is a 4. Going up against the right wing, Higgins, that's going to be a 5. That's going to be a Soga, so it's a shot on net. Do I have anybody with a 25? Well, I got Brad Parker out here with a 35. So that's going to be a shot on net. Shot range of 25 is going to be a save because I rolled a 35. A 55 is going to be a 2, so that would have been a save anyway. Picked up by Brown. Last 30 seconds of the period, Brown rolls a 52. That's a 27. That's intercepted by Casper. And that ends the period. So 2-2 at the end of 1. Now, I don't know if you guys want me to continue or not. I just was going to do a period because I wanted to show you how I play it here. But if you'd like, I can continue. I know we have a bunch of people here in the chat room. So just let me know in the chat if you want me to wrap it up or if you want me to continue playing. I could do either one. I'm fine either way. So it's 2-2 after 1. So let's take a look at our shots on net. Now, what I like to do is look at my shots, which is 9, and then the in-range 4. So I kind of put a 9-4. And for Boston, it's 9-2. All right, so that tells me that both the in-range shot were goal for Boston, while Tony Esposito's made 2 out of the 4 there. So that's where we stand. Bully and Sharpley for the Redskins, for the Blackhawks, and McNabb and Keith Crowder for the Bruins. So that is that, I guess, unless you want me to continue here. I'm not sure what to do. But anyway, so that's some APBA hockey. It's 1 and 1A with Hockey Bones. I don't know which one's better. I like them both. I do. I like both of these games. They both play super fantastic, but they're different enough. They're different enough. So maybe what I'll do, maybe I'll sign off, and I'll finish this game here, and then I need to do my my comparison. I got a comparison video between APBA hockey and Hockey Bones, and I didn't want to do it, but I think I'm going to have fun with it because it's really it's nip and tuck between these two games as far as which one I like and things like that. So anyway, all right. So I think I'm going to jump out here. I might jump on a little bit later on, maybe late night tonight after I get some things squared away. I do have an unboxing video I need to get done. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I have a new game in here I want to unbox. And like I said, I need to get this little comparison video going as well. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in as we did a little slow play of APBA. I wanted to do my setup, and I wanted to get a little bit of everything. I think we had a little bit of everything. I got to show off the spreadsheet. We had the power play and things like that. So a little bit of everything tonight here in some APBA hockey. So I am Dave from Studio B. Hope you enjoyed this one. New Digital to Dice dropped this afternoon, by the way. We had Dave Arlington over from Hockey Bones, and we talked about where did the simple and the basic games go, and do we miss them? And that was our topic today on Digital to Dice. So, yeah, make sure you catch that as well. So I'm Dave. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a great night. And maybe I'll catch you later on tonight. We'll see how it goes. I do have a busy week coming up, but tonight I am home. So